What is up, everybody out there in the land of the internet? I wanted to make this video because if you were like me and you struggle when you first started in real estate. All right guys, I'm up here checking out an AC unit. Mysterious smell. Might have been a mouse. It can be just a mind-blowing experience. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of laws and legal stuff. I wanted to do this video to help maybe just that one person that might come along this video, because this channel is about documenting my journey through life, and this has been a big issue in my life. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the 5 things that I had to overcome when I started in real estate investing, rental properties, and how you can get over those issues very simply. Because the barrier to this information is what makes it so hard. It's really not that it's that hard. So we're gonna dive into that right now on this video, and as few amount of words as possible, if that's possible. So here we go. So what's up, everybody? My name is Jack, and this is my world, Yak Motley. I do everything from catching snakes and cooking fish to going out on the kayak and wrestling big fish and real estate, if they all go together on one channel. But I'm gonna make it go together on one channel because I wanna make sure this information gets passed on the best it possibly can, because this information is expensive and it's fairly simple. I'm doing these videos in a series, a playlist where I can put all my thoughts on this subject in one spot. So anybody that's searching these videos, check out those playlists, and it's just gonna go from one series to another on this topic. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is really how you're going to buy these properties. When I say going to buy, are you going to buy it in your name, or are you going to buy it in your LLC's name, or however you're going to do that? So nobody really explained this to me when I was doing it. I was just like a bull in a china cabinet just trying to buy stuff. Check out this. Check out this. Hold on. What? Wait for it. Oh, wrong one. Wait for it. I've never seen a light like that before. And that's dangerous. So I bought the first property in my name, and I was like, okay, I'll get the mortgage through my name. That way I can just, you know, do a home loan on it. And then I renovated it. But when I started out, I didn't really realize that I was gonna rent it, when I was going to rent it, that there was liability issues with rental properties. And normally, like a lot of people, they keep them in their own name, but this really sets you up to the issue of being sued for a slip and fall claim, dog bite, blah, 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 blah. And that's kind of like one of the costs of some of these properties to rent is really high. If you've read your mortgage, there is a clause in there that says, if you sell this property, we will call your note due. Now, everybody is scared about this, and you should be, because that's a lot of money you'd have to cough up, and it is really, it's a scary thing. But I played chicken with it, and none of my friends had ever seen a note called due, and I went ahead and deeded it over. I did a quick claim deed, and to this day, it's fine. And I've actually, the mortgage company actually knows that I've done this. But I own the LLC, and there's an argument there about whether that's an actual sale or not, because if it was a sale, you would have capital gains tax to the IRS. But that is an argument that is up in the air. Unless you miss some payments and you do something stupid, you're probably not going to get called on this note, because it's a performing asset, and the mortgage company is going to sell it to another dude that is going to buy it. And if they bought your note and then they called it due, they're probably going to lose money on that. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. I own everything in an LLC. It makes it clear, concise, and very easy for taxes. You get a better tax rate. And no, I am not a CPA or an attorney. I'm telling you how I did it. I have 3 properties right now, and they're all cash flowing, and it allows me to do my thing here on YouTube. So if you're not gonna hold your properties in an LLC, you can get an umbrella policy. It's usually like $300 or $400, $450, maybe a little higher, depending on what kind of other stuff you got going on in your life. But they sit above your homeowner's policies in case you do get sued, to pick up that slack in liability coverage. It's up to you. If you're having problems, you can go that route and put a lot of insurance above you. And sometimes it's cheaper, like if you're in California, LLCs are too expensive to do. So umbrella policies are another avenue. And you can keep using those 30-year conventional loans and other types of loans like that, instead of getting commercial loans that can be problematic and clunky. So like the biggest one I've noticed when you're trying to rent a house, washer and dryer in the same part is crucial. Try not to buy a house with a washer and dryer is in a shed outside or in some weird place. It needs to be attached. I learned that one the hard way. But you're gonna run into the issue of loans, and when you get them in your personal name, you get that 30-year low interest rate, and they're easy to get. When you get them on the commercial side, they're usually 5-year with bubble notes, and they can be fairly complex. But if you plan on being in the real estate game very long, you're gonna have to deal with those anyways, because you can only have like 10 notes in your name on your regular name side. But I am willing to play in the commercial side. One, because you can be a little more creative with the financing. Two, there's always private lenders. And three, most of my houses are cash anyways. So, I just want to throw that out there with the LLCs. Comment down below if you got a question about these, because let me tell you, you're going to search all day on YouTube and call a lot of attorneys, mortgage brokers, and you're not going to get a straight answer. But that's my straight answer. Also in LLCs, you can have the problem with 1031 exchanges. There's an argument about if it's a multi-member LLC, you're not gonna get a 1031 exchange. Comment down below if you know more about that, but that's my theory and I'm sticking to it. So we're moving to insurance. Now, on all these topics, they might be different for you because you're in a different state, but I'm gonna talk about how I did it and my thought process on this. All right guys, so here goes the carpet knife. Dealing with insurance, you're gonna have, that's probably the biggest conundrum of buying rental properties. Conundrum, that's a real word. But those insurance agents are gonna drive you nuts. Why? Because most of the time you're buying property that's not fully renovated, or that is on the lower scale, talking like $30,000 to $70,000 properties is kind of like my wheelhouse. Sometimes it can be a little shaky because they got fuse boxes and bad roofs and things you got to replace, and tenants that have dogs that can bite people. Check this out. This is why I don't do carpet. See that? That's dirt. All that is dirt. It was even like this in some of the high-end houses. My house last year I did in Navy Point, just like this. $150,000 house. Samantha's house, pull the carpet, even though it's been vacuumed over and over and over, still looks like that. I will never have carpet in any of my properties ever again. My goal in all this is to do the stuff I can do that's fast and it's worth my time, then hand it off to the guy that I'm gonna pay to do the rest of it. Because he's got a crew and he can go way faster. Gotta choose my time wisely. I got all the junk back there, see it? All the carpet. It took me like 2 hours to pull all the carpet, the pads, and get rid of all the carpet tacks. Now I just gotta dump it off at the dump, sweep the floors, get ready for some laminate. So, the way I kind of went about this when I bought my first rental property, it was an older house that I had to renovate, and I bought a regular policy, just a homeowner's policy, and I figured that when I deeded it over to my LLC, that the insurance would just transfer over. What I didn't realize is your name stays on it, so the payee is still you. If you're an insurance agent, comment down below on this one because I get different answers all over the place. But when you deed it over, your insurance is still with yourself because insurance companies don't like to put your LLC on the policy. So you kind of have this thing, well, is it really covered or is it not? And you don't want to have things in your name and things in your LLC name because you have the problem of the corporate veil and piercing it. So keep that in mind. But what I did to solve this problem, never fear, there's a solution. It's a commercial insurance policy. I was able to put all my properties on that policy, split up liability and then the actual structures, insurance itself. So I had the cost to put it on the policy, usually where I was around $800 to $1,000 for each house, no matter really flat roof or not, or issues or not. And then I had a $1 million liability policy that did this, and it made everything a lot easier. So when I acquire a new property, I can just say, hey, add it to my policy. They just insert it. And usually that $1 million policy, you're probably not gonna have a lot of claims at one time. You're probably gonna be fine up to 3 or 4 properties. And you can just buy another $1 million on top of that when you feel like you need it. So it cuts down the insurance on some of these little houses that could wind up costing you $1,500 to $2,000 a year to insure. Just want to throw that out there for y'all because that blew my mind. But you're gonna have to network your tail off to find these people. One happened to be my friend and I didn't even know it. All right, so number 3 are attorneys, and they're like the fishing lures of real estate, okay? So if you've ever been down the fishing aisle at like Walmart, there are so many lures out there, right? There's pink ones, blue ones, red ones, ones with special blades, and ones that make vibrations and stuff. And that's what I think about attorneys, right? Because if you look them up in the phone book, you're gonna see attorneys that only do this, like real estate. They're only gonna do civil litigation. They're only gonna do document review. They're only gonna do personal injury. Personal injury is really like probably 90% of the attorneys in your area. So after you weed through all those guys and they try to refer you all their buddies, you might find a real estate attorney that is willing to do the paperwork for your LLC, right? So like, and these guys are expensive. They're gonna want money up front. So to set up your LLC can be expensive. So you probably shouldn't do what I do, but I had a paralegal background and a degree in legal studies and legal research and writing. So I was able to write a lot of my documents. And you can probably go on Rocket Lawyer and do it cheaply. Attorneys hate online like Rocket Lawyer and all these, you know, do-it-yourselfers. But be careful with those, because if you get sued, you better know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing and it makes you sleep at night, go to an attorney and say, I need my LLC set up, operating agreement, and here's what I'm going to be doing. Now, it's way cheaper if you already have the paperwork and you request document review and say, hey, what did I mess up on and what can I add? That might be a little cheaper. But if you go out there, they're going to give you an operating agreement, which are really hard to write, and mine's really long. But that will save you if you ever get sued or the corporate veil gets in there and you're worried about it getting pierced. If you don't know about the corporate veil, look that up. That's the difference between your name and the entity. But things like deeds, your corporate minutes, setting up the LLC itself, like I can do mine on Sunbiz for 140 bucks in like 10 minutes. You just got to set up a bank account, get you an EIN number, rock and roll. That you can do yourself, and the more you do this and you see how it's being done, the easier it is. In layman's terms, it can be easy, but if you're scared, don't do it at first yourself. Just go pay the $2,000 to get your operating agreement. That's usually how much they are, and they're usually a template they used on somebody else, so throw you a bone there, find a template. But no, that's what I did. I found a template. Don't do that. Don't say I did that. I told you to do that. But yeah, don't do that. So really the best way you're gonna find a good attorney is like if you go to your local real estate group meetups. So tonight is the meeting for the Pensacola Investors Guild. It is a real estate investors meeting with just about everybody in Pensacola, and it's where a lot of investors meet and greet and network. It's just a good place to like meet new people in real estate, find electricians, plumbers, people like that can help you learn and get better at real estate. Say, hey bro, who are you using for your attorney? And usually you can find a good one. Peer reviewed. Make sure they're peer reviewed. So the next one is taxes, and taxes can be your worst nightmare. That's why I like to have them separate in an LLC for my personal stuff, and I can just say, hey, everything I bought on this card from this bank account is for this, and I can see my expenses, I can itemize it. It makes it a lot easier. Especially being multi-member, you're gonna be kind of different in the tax bracket, you know, different rate because you're an actual company. Research that really hard when you start. LLC taxes, how to do them. Know that you're going to have another expense with a filing cost. I think mine's like 300 bucks. You're just gonna eat that. It's an operating expense. Same way with attorney's fees they're expensive, but you can expense them. So, you know, it's just part of running a company. It's just a write-off. But taxes, make sure you find a good CPA. Same way as you do an attorney, ask some other people who they use. I have a guy that has his own place. It's not a big firm, and I'm able to kind of converse with him without actually getting billed at an hourly rate. He surfs with me, and he's an awesome guy. So he helps me out, and he throws me a bone, and that's how I learned real fast, because a lot of stuff just isn't out there, and it changes so by the year. So taxes, come up with it, find you a good CPA, get him to help you out, and do it that way. Don't TurboTax it, because it's too complicated. So the last one, and I struggled with this, and that is property managers. They are your best friend or your worst enemy, and I'm gonna explain that. Property managers, if just starting out, doing a rental contract, background checks, credit checks, and all that stuff, it's kind of complicated, especially if you're working and you're making more money doing something else. Managers will allow you to do that. My first property, I did not use a manager. I did it myself. I had a contract from the local investors guild that I used, and turned out he was a good guy. He worked at the local hospital. I knew where he worked. I saw his credentials, and I took a chance. But that is not the right answer, but he was a good renter, and I have nothing bad to say about that situation. It can be done, but I didn't do it right. My second property, I did under a manager because it was a lower end property, and I knew my tenants were gonna be problematic, and I didn't have time to deal with that. So I put it under property manager, paid 10%, half the first month up front. That was for their costs of doing the contract and, you know, going to the property and showing it. And they showed that property probably 30 times. So I personally would not have wanted to go over there 30 times, but that's what I had them for. So the idea of real estate is to cash checks and write checks, not to be out there banging on walls and listening to tenants' phone calls in the middle of the night, because they'll do that. So I factored into the numbers of the property that 10% was going to be my cost for managerial stuff, and that I would still cash flow if I did pay a property manager. They do the books, they do the billing, they do the contractors send out. And in the middle of the night when the sewage backs up, it's their problem. And then they call me the next day and say how much it's gonna cost. So yes, you might pay some more upfront costs on the contractors they pick, but you can work it out with your managerial company. Say, I'm gonna use this guy, and this guy instead of that guy and that guy because he costs too much. And especially like with refrigerator repair, stand by to get shocked on that one. It's cheaper usually just to buy another refrigerator. But I like using management companies now. I just have them all under the same person, and it's just send me the money on the 8th and we're good to go. And then I am able to go on and do my thing, because I travel a lot and I can't be running over to the property every 2 seconds, especially when a mouse gets caught in the air vent. That happened this year. Yeah, it was miserable. But really, guys, that is the top like 5 things that I had problems with starting in real estate that nobody answered for me. And there's a reason why all the rich people do it the same way. They have an LLC. They use attorneys that are good. They have a good CPA because it's going to save you money in the end. They know how to do insurance, and their friends show them how. So go find a good insurance agent. Go to all of them. Same with bankers. Go to all of them. Go shop. Shop every one of them. Like, don't be afraid to put your suit on and go from one banker or one CPA or one insurance agent to another until you figure your team out. That's my 2 cents. That's the synopsis of this whole video. So comment down below if you got any questions. I want to do this video because so many people have asked me how I do it, and they see a lot of my posts online of me doing this, and I haven't put it on this channel that much, but I'm going to, because I think people need to share my experiences with that and hopefully help as much as I can. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I think I'm gonna do a playlist of this. Maybe like 5 or 6 things to get my thoughts out there. So I can say I did my part to help all you other entrepreneurs out there. Because it's a hard knock life. See you guys later.